So here we are on week 5, which is overcoming internal dialogue. And this is part of our 8-week mini-series on getting the mindset you need to transition to a healthier lifestyle and get the body you really, really want. I'm Stacie Cole. I'm the founder and CEO of the Healthy Lifestyle Institute for Women. And this is a way scaled down version of our signature coaching program, which you can find in our Healthy Weight Loss Evolution Toolbox. So if you find that you're making some progress but you want to know more, then just jump on our website. It's www.hliwconnect.com. You can go to our products page and find out more about our Healthy Weight Loss Evolution Toolbox. So back to step 5, overcoming internal dialogue. What exactly is internal dialogue? Well, it's that conversation that's going on inside your head, and we all have that. And so this is the step where you're really going to start to learn more about yourself and how you get in your own way. So as we go through this step, please be honest with yourself, because that's how you're going to get more work done as you go through your homework assignments. And this really is the magic step. This is where the metamorphosis is really going to start to take place. So I'm really excited about the content for this week. It really is the crux of the whole entire program. And it requires a lot of introspection, and this is where a lot of people will struggle. This step asks you to take a long, hard look in the mirror. And that can be hard, especially if we see something we don't really like. But that's okay. That's exactly what you want, because being mindful of it is exactly what will allow you to move past it and move on to what you're really after. So listen to that little voice that you hear inside your head as you go through this step. And there is a very critical concept at play here, and that is your weight is not an isolated part of your life. And that bears repeating. Your weight is not an isolated part of your life, because how you do one thing is how you tend to do everything. And so we try so hard to compartmentalize our lives. This is work, and this is home or family, and this is my community, and then here's my spiritual life over here. And life doesn't work like that at all. You are one whole person. And so if you have any emotions that you are trying to kind of push down in one area of your life, it is very likely, almost certain, that they will arise in other areas of your life. And so we're going to talk a little bit about emotional eating. Emotional eating comes from feeling powerless over your emotions, okay? So if you don't manage your emotions, they will manage you. So we're going to dig into our homework assignments for this week, and I'm going to ask some tough questions this week, so stick with me, okay? I promise it is worth what you'll have on the other side of doing your homework this week. So the first question is, what is the trigger that sets you off to overeat? Okay, what emotion do you experience that triggers you to overeat or eat when you're not hungry? Okay, now there's two sides of this. There's positive and negative emotions that we use food for, right? A positive emotion would be a celebratory dinner, for example. And that's okay. As long as that's the exception and not the norm, that's perfectly understandable that you would want to use food as part of your celebrations. Okay, you're not going to be overweight because you have one piece of cake on your birthday, or because you have a glass of champagne when you go out to dinner when you got a promotion at work, okay? It's really the other side of the coin that we want to get at this week with overcoming this internal dialogue. We want to get at the negative emotions. And some examples of those negative emotions might be boredom, loneliness, fear, anxiety, depression, anger even. So those are some of the negative emotions. So see if any of those resonate with you. It could be one of those, and it could be something totally different from those. So if you're not quite sure, if you can't quite put your finger on it just yet, Then look at the circumstances that surround your overeating or eating when you're not hungry. Are you at home alone when it happens? Are you out with family and friends when it happens? Are you standing over the kitchen sink shoveling in a piece of blueberry pie? Or do you have the refrigerator doors open staring off into space? Hello, I'm just saying that might be boredom. Take a look at the circumstances that surround what happens when you're overeating or right before. Did you have a particularly stressful day at work? Did somebody really push your buttons that day? So look at what is surrounding those events and see if there are any patterns that start to emerge, and that'll help you put a name to that emotion. Now the second question, your second homework assignment to journal, is what need are you trying to fill through food? Okay, what need are you trying to fill through food? Because this is a really, really big piece of the puzzle here. Physical hunger does not lead to overeating. And emotional hunger cannot be filled through food. Eating doesn't help the problem. And quite frankly, it's a poor substitute for what you're really after. So I challenge you to have courage as you journal those two questions to really be honest and put all those emotions out on the table and let's deal with them so that we can move forward and get you what you really want. Okay. Now your third question is where we kind of start to rebuild, and that is, how else could you meet those needs? How else could you meet whatever need is causing that is forcing these triggers? So we're going to work back. We can work backwards from here and fix that. So the key is to manage your mood without food. Make sense? Great. Now there is so much more to this step in mastering these, overcoming all these internal dialogues that I can't go into in a tip of the week. But what I can do is offer you a few tips that'll give you some insights into some of the other topics that are involved in this step. And your first tip is to rid yourself of negative self-talk. Okay, watch how you talk to yourself and how you talk about yourself. Your second tip is rid yourself of excuses, because that's nothing in the world but trying to justify your actions. Okay, don't fall into that trap. You're smarter than that. 3 is rid yourself of guilt, and that's guilt for past poor food choices. What's done is done. Move on. Plan your future. Look forward, because you can make any decision you want to from here on out. And step 4 is remember your why. When we were in step 1, we talked about determining why this was important to you in the first place, because this would serve as a motivator for you going forward. And it was something that was really important and probably wasn't even about you. It was probably something bigger and more important than just you. So anyway, those are just a few tips that will give you some insights into the rest of the step in the full-blown program. So you have 3 really important questions to journal, and I'll just go right through those real quick again. 1 was determine what emotion triggers you to overeat or eat when you're not hungry. And 2 was determine what need you're trying to fill through food. And 3 was brainstorm some ways that you could meet that need that don't have to do with food. And your first idea may not be your best idea, so go ahead and make yourself a long list there and go ahead and get yourself a lot of possibilities to work with. Okay, so I'll be thinking about you this week as you journal these. Stick with us, and I'd love to know how you're doing, so please send me a message on Facebook or Twitter and tell me what you're experiencing and what you're figuring out and how you're putting the pieces of the puzzle together, because I really want to know. And next week will be step 6, where we'll talk about mastering external conflicts. Okay, so next week we'll talk about the big bad boogeyman, and until then, live deliberately. Take care.